we're bringing to the light. From maps to mods to the rigs we drive, we're talking to the folks who keep this farm life alive. It's Farm Sim Talk with BDD. Come pull up a chair and ride along with me. Stories from the makers, the builders of the scene. Farm Sim Talk, where we live the farming dream. He's got questions rolling like a big John Deere, digging deep with modders so their voices we can hear. From giants of the code to the artists painting skies, he's shining up their stories like a brand new combine. It's Farm Sim Talk with BDD. Come pull up a chair and ride along with me. Stories from the makers, the builders of the scene. Farm Sim Talk, where we live the farming dream. From tractors to textures, from silos to sounds, there's a whole crew of heroes making this world go round. So tune in and find out who's behind the screen. Farm Sim Talk's the place to see what farming really means. It's Farm Sim Talk with BDD. Come pull up a chair and ride along with me. Stories from the makers, the builders of the scene. Farm Sim Talk, where we live the farming dream.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the channel. This is Big Day Dave, and this is Farm Sim Talk, a show where we get to talk to other creators here within the Farm Sim community. And I am joined here tonight by Farmer Dnkey. Dnkey, how are you doing tonight?
Doing good. How are you doing, Dave?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for asking. And I want to go ahead and start this off by giving a huge shout out because I'm seeing a whole bunch of you out there already. We've got Dust Bunny, Reaver Time Todd, we've got Lisa, also got Why Not Gaming, Jody, Texas Ginger Girl. We've also got, who else? Who else do I see in there? Swim Shady, love the name, by the way. We've got Mama Bear Farming. Who else is out there in the chat? Who else? We got Blue Collar Living. Thank you all so very much for coming out here, hanging out with us here tonight. Hope you all are having a fantastic day so far. So let's go ahead and get this party started off right. So, Farmer Dnkey, do you want to kind of tell us who you are real quick and what it is that you do here in the Farm Sim community?
Oh, sure. So, hi, I'm Farmer Dnkey. And as far as what I do in the Farm Sim community, I am a content creator. I mostly do challenge series. I've recently started a little bit of a kind of how-to guide when it comes to precision farming. It's one of the ways I do play. I will, if I'm running a series or playing a map, I pretty much always play precision farming. So I wanted to kind of share that knowledge with you guys. And another big thing that I do on my channel is I try to raise awareness for mental health and suicide prevention.
Absolutely amazing. That's yeah, one of those that when I first found out about that, that certainly hit a little close to home to me. So that is a really awesome thing. I hope that we can help you out in that journey here tonight. So before we get rocking and rolling into this interview, do you want to let us know where we can find you?
Sure. You can find me on Discord, and I believe you put the link below, and you can definitely chat with me there. But you can also find me on YouTube. I used to stream on Twitch, but I no longer do. But that was in a whole nother content creator lifetime. So,
Gotcha. And do you want to give any shout outs before we get going?
well, if I didn't say it, she'd probably hunt me down. But got to give a shout out to Miss Texas Ginger Girl. um, but yeah, that and all of you other content creators that are out there that I'm always in your chats. Like, you guys are awesome. You guys inspire me to keep going. A few of those would be the old gamers, Nacho, Farmer Mike, Farmer Murphy, Mr. Biggles, just to name a few. But there's so many amazing content creators out there.
Couldn't agree with you more. Thank you so very much to everybody out there. Let's go ahead and get this started. So, we got our first segment here. We call this one Digging Up Dirt. This is where we kind of get to know who you are more personally outside of the content creation that you do. So, first things first, do you have a job outside of content creation, or is content creation your full-time job?
I do have a job outside of content creation. I am currently active duty in the U.S. Army.
Oh,
So,
thank you so much for your service.
oh, thank you for your support. But I've been doing that for the past 17 years. So, getting closer to retirement.
Every single day is one step closer towards it, man. And keep up the good work. Again, thank you so very much. As many of the people here on the stream know, and who support me, knows that I've got loads of friends and family that are in the military, police force, so on and so forth. So, with the highest of respect, thank you, absolutely, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
So let me ask you, what kind of hobbies do you have besides Farming Simulator? Do you do any hiking, fishing? Do you watch sports? Anything along those lines?
Well, not really much on the sport watching. The only time I watch a sports game is if somebody in my office's team is playing, especially if it's two different people's teams that are playing against each other. But that just lets me know how my week's gonna go. But I do enjoy going outside. There's quite a few mountains around here that I've been to hike on a couple of times, and it's lovely to see. Uh, Unfortunately, where I'm at, there's not a whole lot of fishing or hunting area, but I did grow up fishing and hunting, and I thoroughly enjoy it.
What in particular would you go for when you were hunting?
So we would always go hunting for either deer or elk.
Oh, okay, a bit bigger game there. That's nice.
Oh yeah.
So
Well, we got to fill the freezer somehow.
oh, I tell you what, and I personally I love me some good old venison. It's been years since I've had some in the freezer, but I miss it. I absolutely miss having it. One of the funniest stories in regards to me and my wife at the time, she was my girlfriend, and my mother, when she was still with us, she said to her, "It's like, oh, one of these days I'm gonna get you to try out venison." She had no idea what venison was at the time, and she's like, "Well, what is it?" And she's like, "It's deer." And she's, "Ah, I can't eat Bambi." Well, you tell my mother that she can't eat Bambi, she's gonna immediately slip it in wherever she can. And one night she made a big old pot of goulash, and she's like, "Oh my goodness, this is delicious. What is it?" It's like, "Oh well, hope you're enjoying Bambi." the
Oh,
the
that's
wave
terrible.
of the wave of terror that came over my wife's face, and then she looks down at it and she's like, Bambi is delicious. And then she just starts, going to town on it, and it's like, that's when I knew she was a keeper.
Kind of a similar story with my wife. She had never tried venison before either, and I had a pack of venison stew meat in my freezer, and one night I decided to make chili, and so I threw the venison in there. Oh, it was amazing. Now I didn't tell her what I was using until she's like, "What's that smell coming from the kitchen?" So I had to tell her then, but she was willing to try it. And she was like, "Man, this is," and she said just that, "Bambi is delicious." And she's been craving Bambi ever since. So
It sounds like you're gonna have to figure out a way to go stock up the fridge.
oh, I got to.
What about fishing? What's your fish of choice?
So I grew up in the Rocky Mountains in Colorado, and we always used to go kind of hiking from pond to pond. And I just remember catching rainbow trout. And oh man, fresh rainbow trout is just absolutely delicious. Not a huge fish, but man, it is so tasty if you can cook it right.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you just reminded me back when I was growing up in Michigan, we had a pond on our. Well, originally it was just like a fresh spring kind of thing. It was basically a big bog. And one year, my dad decides he's like, you know what? I'm gonna rent a big old backhoe, and we're just gonna create a big pond, big man-made pond. And sure enough, we did that. The year after that, he stocked it full of bluegill and rainbow trout. And every summer I'd be out there just throwing in some corn to get them up to the surface. And then once I did that, hook up a couple pieces of corn on the end of the lure, pull them right out of the pond. Oh,
Oh
delicious.
man.
Good
I've never
times.
I've never tried fishing with corn.
It
We used to always wait for it to rain and we'd go catch the night crawlers as they were popping up out of the ground and use those.
it worked surprisingly well. You just take just a can of corn, just a regular can of corn. You just take a little handful, throw it in there, gets them all up to the surface. Basically, like like the fish food, like at the fisheries and stuff. You just chuck it in there, and they go nuts for it.
That's awesome. I'm gonna have to try that.
Give it a try. You'd be surprised. So, do you enjoy reading books, watching movies, listening to music?
So I don't really have the time for watching movies as much. um, Especially with content creation and kind of balancing family and work. So the movies I watch or have time to is other people's YouTube videos. So um now reading, I don't read that much. Now music is always been a passion for me. Um you can always put in headphones and just jam out to your favorite songs. So that's always something that I have there.
And what kind of music are you into?
So I know it sounds very cliche, but I listen to literally all different types of music. I will listen anywhere from classical to hip hop, and
Okay.
everything in between. Because music to me, it's a universal language. Like you don't have to have words. You don't have to even understand the words that are there to understand the feelings behind the songs.
I gotcha. No, that's 100% true. I mean, music can build bridges across, different languages. I mean, the whole world can understand what you're talking about just through a song. It's crazy and how it, people can just communicate with just a tune. It's incredible.
Oh, absolutely.
So you might not get the chance to watch movies nowadays, but do you have a favorite that you have throughout your lifetime?
Ooh, that's so hard to choose. um, you know, I know it's a little bit before our time. Um, but there was a Dick Van Dyke movie uh called Chitty Chitty Bang Bang
Okay, okay.
that I always just love to watch. And it's a very like bright and colorful musical. So like I as I said, I really love music. But yeah, like it's always been one of my favorites. And now my little ones watch it and enjoy watching it. So it's like, yes, that's a win.
That is 100% a parenting win right there. I personally have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, and we are trying desperately to get them into some of the things other than like the like educational stuff. Like it's like, don't get me wrong, the educational, like these are the colors, these are the numbers, these are, all that stuff's fine. But man, would I just love to be able to kick on like, I don't know, some Disney movie from back when I was a kid kind of thing, or whatever the case may be. So we're slowly trying every once in a while to squeeze in something, and they're starting to take a hold of it. But the one where that we've kind of gotten the most success was that movie Sing, and I think it's mostly because of the music that's in it.
Okay, I am definitely familiar with that one. That was on repeat with my older two kiddos. So
So you understand where I'm coming from.
yeah. Oh, definitely, definitely. That and Trolls.
Oh, I didn't even think about that one, but I bet you that'd be a hit. I gotta tell my wife about that one. Thank you for the suggestion.
Oh yeah, all three of them are they're good movies and great music in those movies as well.
Oh, 100%. I've seen the first one. I haven't seen the other ones, but the first one was genuinely enjoyable, even as an adult.
Yeah,
Now,
absolutely.
now on
And
repeat, I don't know, but
just watch it 8 times in a day and tell me how enjoyable it is.
I'm pretty sure that any movie after watching it 8 times in a single day is gonna kind of lose its luster. So let me ask you this: what's some of the weirdest movies or music that you've heard in your lifetime? Like the most obscure kind of thing.
Ooh. So I don't even remember the artist, but when I was deployed one time, we got this box of CDs and they were all the same. And I can't remember the guy's name that did it, but out of the 6 tracks that were on the CDs, 3 of them was a song called "Smells Like Britney," and it was it was just the strangest song that you had ever heard. And then like some of the other couple of songs were just so weird, but like oddly catching as far as listening to it.
That, but you know what? If you're deployed, then I think that anything at that point is probably better than nothing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean I've never been in the service, so I'm just kind of guessing on that one. And I think it also kind of depends on perhaps where you're being deployed to. If you're on deployment in Japan, I'm sure that's a little bit different than if you're over in the middle of I don't know, Afghanistan or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
let me ask you this: what would you do if content creation was no longer an option for you? Let's say the system that you're running on just one day just blew up, and you didn't have the means to be able to get back up and running again. What would you do as an alternative?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Um, I mean, without being able to content create, I mean, I would still try and still keep in contact with the community for sure, but like not being able to get my message out there, at least through YouTube, I would still, I would try and, I don't know, I might even take up motivational speaking, as a hobby at that point, but
Okay.
because I just enjoy interacting with people so much. Even if it is just in comments on a video, like the interaction, it's amazing.
No, and that kind of would definitely line up based on what you were saying about the prevention earlier. So, I mean, motivational speaking, that definitely would line up. Absolutely. So, has it always been your dream to be a content creator, or do you feel like you just kind of fell into it?
So there's a whole story behind it. But I kind of just fell into it. My dream, like fresh out of high school, it was to actually become a professional chef. And when I retired from the military, to open a restaurant. Um, but I joined the army initially to travel the world, taste the different foods that are around the world, and I wanted to kind of bring that experience to a plate in my own restaurant. Now, as far as the content creation side of things, um, before my spouse and I got married, um, actually before we met, we ended up meeting in a Call of Duty lobby on Call of Duty Ghosts. Uh, so awesome there. We were playing gun game. I don't know which map, but I stabbed her in the back because me and my best friend we were playing, running around the lobby, just stabbing everybody. Which if you don't play gun game, that'll reset them back to the previous gun, and you have to get through 18 different guns in order to win the match. So we would really we would sit there and time out lobbies, and there would be no decisive winner. Um, just doing that, and we were back in the ghost days. You'd be talking all kinds of smack and stuff that's definitely not appropriate for YouTube anymore. But um, and so that's what I was doing. I stabbed her, and I was talking smack, and all of a sudden we hear a ruffling, and she put on her mic and started talking back, and then we just became friends from there, and we talked for years and years, and about, I want to say it was 2019, um, when I started streaming, and it was because she was in the hospital, and she wanted to, if she couldn't game, she wanted to see her friend's game. And so we started doing co-streams on Mixer before Mixer shut down.
Okay.
And so we would stream to her, and so she could talk with us and enjoy the games and everything. And then from there, we both ended up becoming monetized on Twitch, and had a pretty decent following there. Loved doing that. I loved actually talking with chat, and it just became a hobby for me that I really enjoyed doing. Granted, that was a so much different game than what I do now. Um, I was a Dead by Daylight streamer.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's radically different.
And I quit streaming that probably, oh, it's 2025, so 3 years ago. I stopped streaming that because it got to the point where I felt myself becoming too toxic in that game. I couldn't play with my friends anymore because I had gotten so good that it was scary. And every game I was playing, it was competitive, all or nothing every time. And it's like, that's not like I play games to relax and chill. I don't play games to get stressed out. And so I just walked away from it.
I tell you what, though, it sounds like you did a good job on recognizing that it was starting to be, too much. I know I went through a very similar experience where, every time I would, pick up a controller or whatever, I'd be just stressed. I'd be more anxious, more angry, like all the range of negative emotions than I would be just like glad to be picking up the controller. I used to play hockey games, Call of Duties, I mean Dead by Daylight. There was the Left 4 Dead series, the whole nine yards. I've been a gamer for well over, I don't know, 30 plus years. It's been quite a journey for me. But but no, I was always just so stressed out after playing, and it's like, you know what? There's got to be something better out there. I gotta be able to find something that's gonna be more, I don't know, like calming at the end of the day. So it sounds like you and I
Absolutely.
have kind of walked the same path on that. Do you feel that's how you kind of fell into Farming Simulator, or?
Oh, kind of. So I was uh I was just playing with my friends, playing a lot more non-competitive games. Ended up doing a lot of Minecraft. Like, got pretty scary good at Minecraft. Because I'm very good at finding the best way to do things in games. Um, and it might be not be the way that you would think. But I have a very analytical mind, and so like I notice things and I'm like, well, what if I do it just a little bit differently? How would that work? And so Minecraft was perfect for that. It was big sandbox game, got to have a lot of fun. My friends still ask me if I need to if I can make something on their Minecraft world every now and then. But as far as looking pretty, I was never good at. But making it functioning, that was me. Um, but and then uh one of my friends, like as far as getting into farming sim, um she started playing it while sitting. I want to say we were in an Xbox party chat, um and my wife and all of our friends were there, and I saw that she was playing Farming Simulator, and she's like, "Oh yeah, it's on the Xbox Game Pass," and this was Farming Simulator 22, and I'm like, "Hmm, I wonder how that's going to be." And I downloaded it, I started playing it, and I absolutely fell in love with it. Um, it was great, and then of course, like any true gamer does, I started watching content creators videos and seeing what they're doing. It's like, I wonder, I
So
wonder if I could do implement that in my game.
who are some of your favorite creators out there that you ended up kind of cutting your teeth with when you first started?
So, of course, there's Farmer Cop, but the one that really inspired me to start making content as far as farming simulator goes was I was watching the Formal Pickle do a series on Tahitian, Iowa with his dad, and that was just amazing to me. Like I loved the interaction. I loved like the little role plays that he did in his videos, and so that's what I wanted to do. And
Gotcha.
so I downloaded Tahiti, Iowa, and I released 3 episodes that got like 5 views on them. But it took me probably about 16 hours between recording and editing to to make those episodes. And then Farming Simulator 25 came out, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna throw myself into this, and I'm gonna learn a lot more about it. And so yeah, now here we are,
So
just
did you
having a great
start?
time.
Sorry, did you start in FS22 or?
I did start in 22, but it was towards the tail end of 22.
Okay. So you're relatively new to the farm sim scene.
Absolutely.
Well, hey, welcome in. I know we'll
Thank you.
welcome every single person in that we possibly can, and not like I've been here much longer. I was here towards the tail end of FS19, so yeah, no, that's awesome. So one of the things that I always find when it comes to farming simulator is that very oftentimes there tends to be some sort of connection to the farming world as a whole, whether it was I grew up in the country so I saw a lot of tractors, I lived on a farm, whatever the case may be. Do you have that kind of connection, or is this just one of those I it was free and I just picked it up and just started going at it?
So I wouldn't say I grew up on a farm. Um, well, there's not a whole lot of farms in the mountains, but so I grew up around. So we had what, about an acre of land, where I grew up in Colorado, and I grew up all over the U.S. Originally, I was born in Texas. Then we moved all kinds of places. Lived in Iowa, Florida, to name a few. Um, but so I did get a little bit of experience with hand tools out there, um, to mow grass. Uh, and so I got to do that. My stepfather's family had a cattle farm up in Iowa that we got to visit once, and like it was awesome. You got to kind of experience the farm life there for a couple of days at least, but and it was not easy. But when I just kind of got drawn towards Farming Simulator, when I saw it was free, downloaded it and started playing it. But yeah, for for the most part, no. Rural life, yes, but not really farming.
Okay, yeah, and that's kind of the observation I've made is whether, like I said, it's whether you kind of lived out like in rural America or you lived on a farm, you did farm work. Like they're always not always, it's but very like high probability that the people who play Farming Simulator or especially those who make content with it tend to have some kind of connection to the kind of rural living. So it's just kind of something I've noticed, especially doing this show here. So one of those I always kind of ask if that connection exists. And it sounds like for you, it's there. It sounds like it's there. So earlier you mentioned that you were married. So how do you come up with the kind of balance between the home life, the work life, and the creator life? Because you obviously you got to make the missus happy. You've got a very high demanding job in regards to the military, and you've got the creator life where you get to kind of do your own thing. How do you find that balance?
So I'm still working on that. It is pretty difficult. When so my youngest uh my youngest son was born right before the channel started picking up and gaining traction. Um, and so I had 12 weeks of leave that I was on. And so I was able to release so many episodes and still keep up with family life. And so I've been cutting back slowly, um, as far as what am I doing to record? What am I actually working on project wise to kind of balance that out? It is a hobby. It's not my full time life, and the best thing that I can do with my job is to leave it at the door when I leave work. I mean, I still have my work phone on me pretty much 24/7 in case I am needed. Um, because one of the things I do for Army unit is I teach suicide prevention. I am that person that they call if somebody is having suicidal ideations, to come and talk to them. I mentor a lot of soldiers uh, that are struggling, and so I'm available 24/7 for them, which can be a little bit difficult, especially now that I've started live streaming. I can't just walk away from a live stream as easy. But as far as with just recording and editing like that, I've dropped that down to, hey, I'll record one night and then the next night I'll edit and then it won't come out till probably the next day. But I'm releasing three different videos a week. And so that kind of gives me that time to spend with my kids, with my wife, and kind of balance things out. Now, granted, some of the projects I try to bite off in farming sim take a lot longer than expected, and I've noticed that. But for the most part, it's a difficult balance to keep.
So one thing that I noticed, and I kind of came across relatively early in my content creation career, is selection is so important. And what I mean by that is, to be able to make the content that I make, and you might find yourself in a similar boat, that if you choose the wrong map or the wrong kind of play style that you do, it makes recording near impossible. Have you come across anything along those lines in your time of creating content?
Yeah, absolutely. Currently, and I'm kicking myself for this one, but I've been persevering. Um, I have a role play series on um, the Judith Plains, Montana map.
Okay.
And not in that series, not only am I running one farm, but I'm actually running a second farm as well for the role play
Ooh.
aspect of things. So and yeah, yeah, it is a lot. So I try to record those episodes on the weekends.
Give yourself a little extra time, eh?
Give myself a little bit extra time instead of 2 to 3, maybe 4 hours after work.
Mm-hmm.
Miss
So,
Dust Bunny says we're having lag issues.
uh-oh. Oh, we are having lag issues. What's going on here? I do apologize, everyone. I don't know what is going on. It's a bit rate crashing. Huh. Let me see. Is it my internet? It shouldn't be. Sorry, everybody. Give me just 1 second. I'll see if there's anything I can do about this. Oops. Helps if I can type right.
We need to. I can shut off my camera. That should speed it up a little bit.
Um, Perhaps. I mean, I don't know. We can try it and see if that helps out. Like I said, I do apologize, everyone. I'm not sure what's going on. Here, let's stop capturing that. Okay. Huh. Oh yeah, no, for some reason I'm going like super slow on the upload for some reason. What is going on with my internet? Hmm. All right, well we'll try and proceed on, and hopefully it's getting out to the, like, hopefully it's being recorded and it's not gonna just buffer the whole time. But I can see it's kind of picking it back up, maybe. Hmm. All right, so where was I? All right. What? Sorry, we just kind of derailed. Where were we talking about there before we went into the nitty gritty?
Oh, that's
You
you're
too,
asking the
huh?
wrong person.
Oh, we were talking about the picking of maps and stuff. Um, yeah. So the kind of thing that I ran into, very similar to what you're talking about there, is not necessarily coming up with multiple farms for role playing, but it was specifically the map that I had selected. So I had selected to do a series on Alma, Missouri. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely love Alma, Missouri. It is a fantastic map. It is a terrible map to try and make content with. The reason being is that the fields are so massive that every job you try and do takes literal hours from start to finish. So when I would hop on to record something, it'd be, you know, 4 hours to do one job. And it's like, okay, well, I can't, show one job taking 4 hours or even the entire episode kind of thing. I've got to, lace in a few other things throughout the thing. So it's like, okay, well, that's one day's down. Now I got to come back to another day to be able to record the next bit, and so on and so on and so on, until finally it was like, okay, we got to start figuring out how to offshoot on Alma, Missouri. Love the map, but who was it a bear to try and make content with? But
Oh,
what was that?
oh yeah, no, I've played Alma. Thankfully, it was in a multiplayer game, but you're absolutely right. Those fields are absolutely massive. Um, but I mean, it's such a beautiful map too.
Oh, absolutely. And now Celebuki just released Iowa Plains View just today. Have you ever tried that
Oh
map?
no, but I am definitely interested in it.
Oh, if you get a chance, go ahead and check it out. It's very similar to Alma in the fact that it's got the big fields, but it's just like iconic Midwest flavor to it. And the starting farm, like you open up the starting farm and you've got the house to your back, and the entirety of the farm is right there in front of you. And to your right is the giant mega silo system right there. And then wide open kind of background. It is just breathtaking. Such a good map. So let me
I
ask
will
you this.
definitely give it a download.
Yeah, definitely give it a shot. So you mentioned that you've done a fair bit of traveling in your lifetime there. You said that you were born there in Texas, lived in Colorado, you were in Florida, and I'm pretty sure you mentioned a few other states as well. Um, are you big into to traveling?
I I love to travel. I hate moving.
Yes.
um, but yeah, no. Like even one time, like I prefer to drive versus fly. Unfortunately, with my job, when I do travel for work, I fly everywhere. Um, but me and my wife, we have driven, well, for the most part, the entirety of Route 66.
Oh wow,
The
that's a cool
only
drive.
part that we didn't do was all the way to Chicago, as I refuse to drive into Chicago.
I can't say as I blame you. I've been to
um,
Chicago.
but because we went up to Michigan for a friend of ours' wedding, and again a gaming friend, and so we drove up Route Six. Well, we drove up I-40 to get to Michigan, and then we came back down Route 66, and then we ended up on another trip uh, driving out to LA on Route 66. So we kind of hit all of the points along it. We just didn't do it in one shot.
Okay. And out of curiosity, what part of Michigan were you in?
Believe it was called New Haven.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm familiar with New Haven. I gotcha. So let me see if I can catch back up to where I was in my queue of questions. Yeah, there we go. So, so you like to travel, but not into moving. I completely understand that. I moved here recently, and it was awful. Technically, still moving to this day, and that was back in May. Yeah, May. So we still got like boxes all strewn out all over the place, and it's terrible. It sucks. But let me ask you this: if money was no object, where would be the one place that you'd want to travel to, and why?
Oh, that's such a difficult question. Is there's so many beautiful places that I would love to go and visit. I mean, I've been to Germany, I've been to Ireland. Um, I've been all over the US. If money was no object, you know, I would probably go with a smaller country, um, just to kind of experience like the rural life out there and just really get a nice breath of fresh air. But it would probably be I'm trying to think of a farming country in the probably Central Europe because it's just so beautiful out there. Um,
Could do
and of
like a
course I've been
Poland or something like that. That'd be pretty cool.
yeah, Poland would be awesome. I was either thinking Poland or maybe Austria.
Yeah, yeah. There you go.
But there's just so much history all around the world, and it's just amazing to actually go and experience it in person.
Oh, 100%. So where would you say is one of the best places that you've been in your lifetime?
Well, you know, I gotta say Texas just because I was born there. But no,
Letting the bias show a little bit. That's okay. I'll allow
little
it.
bit. But honestly, uh, Ireland was probably the most beautiful country that I've seen. Out of the ones I've been to. Uh, and it was just breathtaking when I was there. And I mean, I would absolutely love to go back and maybe get one of the farm sim creators to give me a tour around it a little bit more.
Oh, absolutely. That'd be pretty sweet. So earlier you'd mentioned that you have the drive for the suicide prevention, and it also turns out that you do that for your job. Um, can you kind of let us know how did you come across that kind of career path? I mean, it seems like you'd have to have some kind of like specialty towards it in order to kind of get into it. Um, I mean, when it comes to the military, did you have like a special course in order to go through that kind of stuff, or
So yes, but no. Um, so after I came back from a deployment back in 2015, I was still a reservist at the time, uh, and working in the prisons in Texas. But I came back injured. I I was on some hardcore pain medication uh, just to be able to walk, and I was still walking with a cane. And I was in my really early 20s. Well, I guess it would probably be considered mid 20s, but and my wife at the time had told me not to bother coming home, and it was I had left within 6 months of my first child being born. I was in a very bad state of mind. I couldn't work. I couldn't do anything that the way I was raised a man was supposed to do. Um, and so I spiraled deep. I spiraled really deep. And there was a friend that I hadn't seen since high school, and he was working at the convenience store where I was going and buying a 24 pack a night, and he carried the torch for me when I was in shadows. He came, he stayed with me, and he's my best friend now. We talk all the time, and like he really was that inspiration for me. Um and my wife now, she that was around the same time I met her, and she was there too, to kind of keep me from spiraling too deep. And it wasn't till a couple years ago that I had the opportunity of meeting one of the greatest teachers that I've ever met for suicide prevention. And he shared his story with me, and I didn't even until I met him. And he came to where I was working, and he was going to be teaching a class there. And I told my bosses, like, look, I need to do this. I need to take this class. I wasn't enrolled in the class, and he let me walk in and jump in and take the class. And so I learned how to teach suicide prevention. I mean, because in the army, we're all supposed to know how to help our buddies out that are struggling, at least at bare minimum, get them to help. But I wanted to do more than that. Um, and so I ended up working with this teacher, and I travel around with him, and I teach alongside him. And like I've been through classes. I've taught a bunch of classes now, and it makes you feel more like you're giving back. And to me, I'm still trying to pay off my debt, because if it wasn't for somebody to carry that torch, I wouldn't be here.
It's amazing how one person at the right time can make all the difference. And sounds like you got that one person at the right time in the right way to help you out the way that you needed it. And that's incredible. And the fact that you were able to, turn what was such a negative in your life and manipulate it into something, what is extremely positive for not just yourself but for many many others around you. And I mean, really, for um, a community of people who already have to deal with some of the darkest things that can be imagined. The fact that you're there for them is inspiring. That's amazing. So that's amazing that you were able to, you know, figure out, with the help of your friends and family, to be able to make this into something that you can look back on uh with almost like a reverence to. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. And like I without the support of my family, like I couldn't do this. I really couldn't. Um because now that I am teaching, I do travel a lot more. And I'll be gone for a week at a time to go teach these classes all throughout the country. And so they have to carry that burden on the home front without me here. Um but like they're so supportive, and it's truly amazing to have them be there for me.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. It's incredibly inspiring. As somebody, who, like I mentioned earlier, I have loads of friends and family in the military, in law enforcement. I've heard, you know, many dark stories from them, and very oftentimes what I've noticed as the kind of outsider looking in, from the stories that they tell, is very oftentimes they come up with coping mechanisms to be able to deal with some of the darkness that they have had to endure, whether it's through like comedy or whatever, like dark comedy, or whatever the case may be. And the fact that you're somebody who, you know, isn't just kind of living in the theoretical, somebody who has gone through it and is then able to sit there and it's like, hey, you know, I'm here to help in whatever way I can. And not only am I here to help, but I have also trenched these dark spaces before, you know, so it gives them kind of a leg up as like, hey, this is somebody who's dealt with it, uh, you know, knows where they may be coming from, kind of thing. It's like I said, it's incredible path that you're walking. So, you know, keep it up, because it's certainly a lot more people are needed like yourself to be able to do what it is that you're doing.
Oh, absolutely. And I I was talking with a streamer, and I don't want to mention their channel, but like they shared an inspiring story, and like it motivated me to keep going, to keep trying harder to reach more people, to really work as hard as I can to spread the message. And the real message behind everything is love. Genuine love for other humans. And that's what making those connections is for. We did an event here, because uh well, September is National Suicide Prevention Month. So we did an no, August is. Yeah. So we did an event, we did Connect to Protect, and we did this huge community community involved event, and it was just with our army unit, and then we have some navy here as well that we competed against. We were doing like all kinds of, like, I would say, kind of like a field day from when you were in school.
Okay.
And we brought people from the local resources to kind of be there and show, hey, this is what we can do for you, and trying to share the message of connection. Um, and it was a blast. We love doing it. Um, and then from that, like, you get to meet, in the suicide prevention world, you get to meet so many different people, and you get to listen to their stories, and you get that genuine connection with them. And you'd be surprised what kind of conversations you get into. Um, 'Cause I always on my backpack, there's some Velcro. It's a purple and teal ribbon on the back of my backpack, and so people always ask about what that is. Or I have this little figurine that we call a battle buddy, and it's made out of parachute cord and a wooden bead that you would get from like Hobby Lobby with a face drawn on it. And so as I travel, I get a lot of questions about those. And so that gives me that opportunity to open up and share. And you'd be amazed how much people would share back to a total stranger. Um, and it really makes their day. It really brightens their day to get a lot of that off of their chest.
Well, it's really, I don't know if it's necessarily even surprising, because you might be talking to a total stranger, but that's also where a lot of people can also feel the most comfortable, and least, almost the least judged, is that like, okay, well, more than likely I'm never going to see this person again, so what's the harm in me opening up? kind of thing.
Oh, absolutely. And unfortunately, that is true. Is because as a total stranger, I shouldn't notice the signs before somebody that notice them that knows the person. You know this person better than I do. But a lot of times, hey, you're walking by and you notice something, and something just feels off about that person. And so I'll try and strike up a conversation. But it's it's not as hard as you would think. But the hardest part is fighting the stigma.
Yes.
Um, Fighting the stigma that mental health is a bad thing. It's just like any other injury. Um, you need to take a knee for it. And if if I were to break my leg, you wouldn't expect me to go run a marathon afterward, right? So why, if you're struggling with a mental or moral injury, would I expect you to be in a high stress environment?
Yeah. No, it makes total sense. Um, as a matter of fact, earlier before we actually started the stream, you pointed out a few things. Now you're not sharing your screen right now, but when you were, you had your channel logo with a particular backdrop. Do you want to kind of elaborate as the kind of details that are kind of hidden behind behind the stream?
Absolutely. So
And if you'd like to, you can reshare your screen just so we can kind of see what like actually visually represent it.
let me bring it back up. Ooh, where's that button? There it is.
There we
Oh,
go.
except I disappeared. Pardon me, why we're experiencing technical difficulties. There we are.
Hey, there he
All
is.
right. So a lot of you might not know why I chose a purple donkey as my logo. So purple and teal are the colors for the awareness of suicide prevention. So that's why I decided with a teal backdrop and then my purple donkey. And so in a lot of my videos, when that sub icon pops up, uh, that's why it flashes to a teal background behind the purple donkey. Is for that little glimpse of suicide prevention right there. So it's, as I said, it's something that I'm passionate about.
That's an amazing thing to be passionate about. And for those of you who are listening out there right now who are seeing this, if you're not a subscriber to Farmer Donkey, go check out his channel. I mean, it's honestly probably one of the most motivating stories that I've heard while doing this show. Um, Man, it's amazing. Like just flat out. Like I'm not even trying to toot your horn or anything like that or to spin you up or anything like it's legit one of the most noble callings I've heard in a very long time.
I appreciate that. But yeah, it just something I had to do. It's not for any kind of growth or anything. I'm just so amazed how quickly like my channel has taken off and I can use that as a platform.
Well, and it's not only are you able to affect change in individuals' lives, is if you get that one person who just so happens to come across your channel at the exact right time, and I have, uh, I've experienced that myself, where people have come to me at the one time in their need and have told me things, and it's like, wow, like that's incredible. So yeah, if they're able to find you, and not only do you have this like massive background and you're doing it as, you know, part of your career path, well then they're going to land in the right spot, kind of thing. You know, and you might be able to then encourage them to seek the help, you know, that they need in their immediate life, not just in, you know, the YouTube space or the kind of gaming space. You're going to be able to guide them into, you know, the proper path to be able to seek the help that they need. So that's, you know, not only are you doing it, you know, in your day to day, but you're also doing it in your, you know, in your channel, and growing beyond your immediate presence. That's awesome. It's fantastic.
Oh yeah. And I even today I so one of the ways in my videos is I create AI songs. I write the lyrics and I get AI to sing it for me. But there's a few songs that I've put on my channel that have meant the world to me. They weren't just goofy, and yes, I have a lot of goofy songs. But it's okay to be goofy. Um but so made a playlist on my YouTube channel today. Um and all the songs in that playlist are to raise awareness for mental health and suicide prevention. And the amount of traction that I've got just since that is truly amazing. But a few of my friends, and they're out of the farming sim community, they like loved my music so much that they just wanted to hear it. And I wasn't going to pay somebody to put it on Spotify. So I put it on YouTube so they can listen to it nonstop. And like, it's just, it I don't have words for the joy that um for the for the joy that just watching how many people are enjoying these songs or enjoying my content because of this.
Yeah, like I said, I'm having, doesn't often happen to me, but I'm struggling to find the words to be able to articulate how incredible this all sounds. Like, I know I just keep on saying, "Oh, this is incredible. This is awesome that what you're doing." But I mean, at the end of the day, it's a very difficult subject to talk about. You know, as you know, as an outsider, you know, I've personally never had to struggle in such a way, and I'm thankful every day that I've never had to experience that. But it certainly, like I said, it's certainly amazing to know that there's people like you who are, you know, waiting in the wings to help those who need it. It's it's like I said, it's inspiring. It's genuinely inspiring.
Thank you.
So let me ask you
Hey,
this.
yeah,
I'm sorry, what was that?
I don't even know what to say.
Uh, like I said, I'm struggling to find the words. And to kind of give people a little bit of understanding of how things kind of work around here, kind of behind the scenes. Every time I have a guest on Farm Sim Talk, I ask them for a kind of brief bio, you know, just a kind of a little synopsis of who they are, you know, to kind of be able to help me come up with, you know, different things to talk about. I've got my set kind of standard questions I ask, but then also want to be able to know a little bit about them before getting into the show in order to know how to kind of steer the conversations. You know, not to kind of, you know, break up the magic behind the show or anything, but when I read Farmer Donkey's bio, um, you know, and that was a part of the bio was the suicide prevention. Um, I knew that it was going to be next level to try and not just gloss over this. It's a heavy subject. It's a very heavy subject that, hopefully, um, hopefully isn't being done a disservice here tonight. And but on my end, kind of thing. Um, it sounds to me that you will very easily be able to carry that torch and help, as many people as you can get your hands on. So, like I said, I hope that, how do I want to say it? Hope that we're able to continue to bring your message to others out there here tonight. So,
Now, I just want to correct you on one thing there, Dave.
Let's hear it.
So, donkeys don't have hands; they have hooves. But yeah, no, I absolutely appreciate everything, and you're not doing a disservice. You are an amazing host.
I appreciate that. I really do. So, let me ask you this. What's one thing that people are generally surprised to find out about you when they're first meeting you?
Ooh, honestly, I don't know. That I guess maybe. So I am the same way, both on camera, off camera. I am me. um, and my face has subtitles. So,
I'm sorry. I don't think I've ever heard it described like that before. That is hysterical. My face has subtitles.
My face has subtitles. Yes.
That's amazing.
Now, I know, like, in person, a lot of the time when somebody's first meeting me, they don't, uh, and they haven't gotten to know me yet. I kind of have a little bit of RBF. Um, and I might not seem as approachable, but as they get to know my personality a little bit more, they and most of this is people that I work with. Um, that and one uh is after being in 17 years, I've gotten high enough in ranks. I'm a little scary to approach in uniform. But like I still try to maintain that approachability for anybody to come and talk to me. And and I think that's the biggest shocker is um I get out from behind my computer at work, and because unfortunately I'm stuck in an office 80% of the day. But I get out and I go and I talk to everybody. I see how they're doing, and that's really a shocker for a lot of people because that's not the normal culture. Is for somebody that doesn't have any business directly interacting with soldiers because as I said, I work behind a computer on a staff. So my job is spreadsheets and PowerPoint slides. That's what I work with all day. So, but I make the time.
Well, and to me, that just sounds like you're a good leader. I mean, plain and simple is that if there were more people out there in, higher position, not even just in the military, just in general. I mean, even in work culture, there was more people who were in the upper rungs of their workplace or whatever who took the time to be able to go talk to their staff and kind of figure out, hey, what's going on, what kind of things are you dealing with, or what kind of struggles are you having, whatever the case may be, then that makes for a far more approachable environment and a far more uh, environment where people are motivated to perform and do their best.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the mottos from one of my coworkers, and she teaches suicide prevention with me. Um, I've kind of started spreading that around the office, so we all travel together. Um, and thankfully, we're getting more people all the time to come and join. But her motto is people first, plain and simple. People first.
That's awesome. That's a good mentality to have. So let me ask you this: do you have any pets?
So currently we have 2 dogs and 3 cats.
Whew. So you do have a full household.
Yeah,
Wow.
we do.
What kind of dogs you got?
um, we have one that's a full blood husky
Oh,
and one that's a husky German Shepherd mix.
wow. That is an interesting breed right there. So I my experiences with huskies have been from like family friends, and they are, at least the one that I interacted with, was one of the most chatty breeds of dogs I think I've ever experienced in my entire life. If any disturbance in the force happened whatsoever in their household, that dog would not only let you know about it, but would let the world know about it. Is your husky anything similar?
Yes and no. So one the full blood husky, she could care less anymore. She's old enough that she's just like, okay, yeah, you're there. You're gonna scratch my belly. But our male husky, he's very talkative and very protective of the kids. So I'll look at him and I will say, I'm gonna eat the baby. And he just loses his mind and starts telling me off for it. But another thing is, well, we live on base, and so every day at 5 o'clock they play retreat, and then they play the national anthem as they're taking down the flag every day, well, Monday through Friday. And so if the dogs are outside during the national anthem, they will start singing along to it. And they will get the entire neighborhood going. And it's just fantastic. But then I when they come back in, I tell them they were off key a little bit. They need to work on their pitching. But and in the mail, he talks back a little bit, maybe more than a little. But
So what you're telling me is that you are your neighbor's favorite neighbor, kind of thing. You're the one that's like keeping the whole neighborhood, up and at 'em, kind of thing.
well, because it's 5 in the afternoon when it plays. It's not in the morning. We don't put
True,
them out in the
true.
morning. Um, we're not gonna wake up the whole neighborhood. Um, and we keep them in because also in the later evenings they'll play a song called Taps,
Mm-hmm.
and so we keep them inside for that as well, just so Taps can be heard loud and clear. There's a clear meaning behind that song, and we don't want to disturb that.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but that's for fallen soldiers, correct?
That's correct, but not just soldiers. Soldiers is normally reserved for just army personnel, but
Mhm.
it's for all military members.
Yes.
Taps is played, and that it took me a long time to be able to listen to taps without crying.
I could understand that. Yeah, I could see that. If you're a part of that community, especially if you've experienced, loss of, somebody close. You know, Military, police, just first responders in general. I mean, there is a a higher likelihood than most other, I mean, all other really, career paths out there where you're going to experience some sort of loss. So yeah, there's going to be, things such as taps and whatnot. There are going to be that kind of reminder. So I could imagine that being, very difficult, if you've experienced something along those lines. And even, I mean, really, heck, even if you haven't, um, just knowing that that's what it signifies, I could imagine that being tough too.
Oh, absolutely. The first time I heard taps wasn't I mean, I was in the army, but it wasn't for someone that was currently serving. I had just barely joined the army and I was away at training, and I had gotten a call from my mom, and she had told me that my grandfather that practically raised me, and he's another big reason why I do what I do. Is he was the kind of man that would literally give you the shirt off his back if he knew it would help you. And because you needed it more than him. And the doctors had given him 72 hours to live, and I'm very good at keeping a straight face, keeping my bearing when I need to, but I just broke down in tears, and I caught the next flight out, and I ended up not making it in time to say my final goodbye. And so Taps was my final goodbye. That's where it finally sank in that he was gone when it was played at his funeral, because he was a Navy veteran, and it was years and years, and I still get misty eyed talking about him. Um, but years and years went by, and I got more used to taps, and it's probably the worst reason why I got more used to it. Because in 2020, one of my additional jobs that I had to do was military funeral honors. And if you don't if you don't know what that means, it is when a military member, former, current, when they pass away, um, we go and we fold the flag that was draped over uh, their casket, and we present it to their next of kin. And we play taps and hold a salute in honor of that fallen service member. And then we fold the flag. And during COVID, we had held off for probably about 4 months from doing any military funeral honors. And there was probably about a 8 month stint where I didn't get a day off because of how many funerals that we had to attend. Um, and so I just got so used to hearing it, but it still resonates with me every time. I just I can hold back my tears because I had to.
Yeah, I can. Mm, I couldn't even imagine. Couldn't even imagine having that kind of job. You and I were talking prior to going live here tonight, and one of the things that I had mentioned is that I know myself and know that I'm not equipped to handle certain jobs. I know I couldn't be in the military. I know I couldn't be a police officer. I know my mentality. Uh, that's one of those kind of jobs that I know I couldn't do. But thankfully there's somebody like you who was able to do it. Thankfully there are people out there who can do those jobs. So people like me, we don't have to, kind of thing. So, I thanked you earlier for your service, but let me reiterate and let me say it one more time. Thank you. Because you've had to do some of the darker jobs. You're doing the darker jobs. The ones that are out there that a lot of people, I mean, might not even know about, per se, kind of thing, especially, in the civilian world, and without, men and women like yourself to be able to do the jobs that you've done, that you do, uh, I mean, certainly the world would be a much darker place. Certainly the military would be a much darker place. Um, so, like I said, thank you.
Oh, and I will continue to say it, but as I can't do it without you guys, I can't do it without your support. Um, it's it's one of those things that just keeps you going, is knowing that there's something worth fighting for.
Absolutely, 100%. All right. That's all the questions I had for this segment. Once again, thank you for going through that. That was honestly probably one of the more powerful farm sim talks that I have been privileged enough to host. So let's go ahead and take a look at the chat, because I have a feeling there's going to be, a few people out there who are wanting to ask their questions. First off, I want to give a big shout out to Dust Bunny. Dust Bunny, thank you so very much for all that it is that you do, helping out here around the channel, helping out for Farm Sim Talk. Tonight being no different. Dust Bunny asks, where do you see your channel in 5 to 10 years?
Where do I see my channel in 5 to 10 years? I am happy exactly where it's at. If I have a bigger audience, great. I would love that. But I just want to, regardless of how big my channel does get, the connection that I have to you all is what's important. And I just don't want to get too big for my britches.
Well, I'm sure that I won't be the only one that echoes this, but I really hope that your channel does grow, that you do get out there, and that you're able to, spread your message far and wide, because like I said earlier, you'll never know who it is that you'll come across and who you'll touch at just the right time. And yeah, I think there's so many people out there who could use that you know that's I guess, for lack of a better word, that safe space, that area where they can feel welcomed and not judged, and able to kind of be themselves, and you can hopefully be the one that kind of steers them using the torch that you represented earlier. So, like I said, if you haven't yet, everybody, go subscribe to Farmer Donkey. Go help him out in every chance that you can. It could, help him spread his message, because it's an amazing one. So again, Dust Bunny, thank you so very much. Greatly appreciate your question. We got one from Nacho Cast. Nacho, how's it going? Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. Says, are you secretly working for JJ?
Well, Nacho, unfortunately, that's something you will never know.
1, 2, 3. The world may never know. Oh, Nacho, thank you so very much. I greatly appreciate it. We got one from Old Gamers Lane and Wayne. It says, Farmer Donkey, thank you for your service. Do you mind telling us your MOS?
Yeah, certainly. So back in your guys' day, it probably would have been called 77 Fox. But I am a 92 Fox, which is a petroleum supply specialist. So a lot of what I talk about and I do has nothing to do with what I was trained for the Army.
Yeah, wow, that's quite a divergence right there.
So yeah, a lot of the stuff that I do is voluntary. And yeah, unfortunately, I'm stuck in an office now doing most of the planning for it. I haven't touched fuel in 10 years.
Wow. That's whew. I'm still trying to gather the words. It's like petroleum specialist to suicide prevention. Again, it's just y'all go find Farmer Donkey's channel. It's linked in the description. Go if you haven't. Completely destroy that subscribe button. Like seriously, like this is next level stuff. I wasn't expecting all this tonight. I legit wasn't. Let's see. For Old Gamers Lane and Wayne, thank you both so very much. Greatly appreciate your question. We got one from Lisa. Says, what is the one thing that you like on your current farm?
Okay, so there's a few farms currently that I've been working on. But honestly, the thing that I am the most proud of is on the one tile challenge that was brought to us by Zorsch. I worked and created my first mod to put in a billboard with all the content creators that participated in the challenge. And I put that on my one tile farm.
That's awesome.
And I am just so proud. Every time I look at that I was like, these guys are all awesome. I was so happy to participate in the challenge with all of them, and I still am. But most of them have finished. I'm a little bit slower.
Well, you know what? We'll just say that's because you're a busy man. You got the wife and kids at home. You got the military career. We'll just say that you're busy doing more important things. Lisa, thank you so much for your question. Greatly appreciate it. Brady Rimmer Productions. He asks, what is your favorite map to use on FS25?
Ooh, you guys are rough with these questions. There's so many great ones. Man. Ooh. These are loaded. My favorite map. You know, I don't think I can name one single map that's my favorite. They truly are. There's a lot of great ones. I know I'm waiting on one to come out, but I think the one that I had the most fun, and it was an off camera playing, would have been Riverview. Just the amount of detail that was put into the map, it just amazing.
Yeah, Riverview is an amazing map. Kevin Leroy, friend of the channel, big shout out to him. Uh, yeah, fantastic map. Fantastic map. Let's see. Brady, again, thank you so much for your question. Greatly appreciate it. We got one from Swim Shady. Again, I still love that name.
Oh boy.
Why is the name Donkey and why is the lack of the letter O?
Okay, so his question goes back clear to me meeting my current wife. So I mentioned that we were playing on Xbox, and we kind of had a clan of all of our friends, and we're really close. That group of friends, like to the fact that when my wife and I got married, uh, they all came to the wedding. But they were the way they had their gamer tags was capital A space capital W, and it's wild, and then a space, and then whatever name you had afterward. Now, you're familiar with Xbox names. You only get so many characters.
I know where this is going.
And so I was a little bit different then. A little more of a donkey, so you would say. Still don't have much of a filter, but so I put a wild donkey as my gamer tag, and I just dropped the O because the message was still there. And I've just kind of gone from there. Like I became Donkey. And now it's more comical than anything. So just kind of stuck with it.
Gotcha. Makes a lot of sense. Swim Shady, thank you so much. Let's see. We got one from Wranglosaurus Rex says, "What is a content creator or what is a content creator you would love to collaborate with?"
Ooh. Rex, that is a good question. But to be fair, I can't prioritize collaborating with any single content creator over anybody else. Like I would love to do a series with everyone. Just because this community is so amazing. And as Rex would say, they shared the peace and love. And it's awesome. Like I would love to get to know a lot of these different content creators a little bit better and spend time enough to do a series with them.
See, I can only imagine a series with you and Rex between the peace and love and your general messaging. Holy smokes. The world would heal overnight.
So we actually kind of already play a little bit together. We've done one session on Mr. Why Not stream. He had myself, Rex, and Miss Dust Bunny there. And that was a riot to have all four of us in that chat. And if I remember correctly, we're planning on getting back together again later on this month. And I believe Miss Dust Bunny knows the date. I am completely spaced out at the moment on which date it is. I know it's 20 something, but Yeah, like it's awesome just playing with that group.
Ah, fantastic. Yeah, I've had Wranglosaurus Rex here on the Farm Sim Talk. I've had so many people, on Farm Sim Talk, and uh, getting to know them a bit more personally and uh, whatnot has been an amazing experience. Including Rex there, and yeah, like I said, I could imagine the energy and the vibes because every one of the names that you mentioned there, I've gotten to speak to, personally, and I could only imagine just the hysterics that would have ensued in that chat. Holy smokes!
It was phenomenal. Um, I'm pretty sure my wife could hear me laughing um out in the other room.
One of those that she kind of peeks her head in from the next room. It's like, is everything okay in here?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my goodness. All right. Wranglosaurus Rex, thank you so very much for your question. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. We got one from Mama Bear Farming. She asks, when did you start playing farm sim games?
Oh, honestly, it's only been about a year. When I said I came in at the tail end of 22, it was the literal tail end of 22. So yeah, I think I started August of 24.
Gotcha, gotcha. So yeah, I mean, August of 20, yeah, so little over a year. Wow. That's uh that's awesome though, because just one of the things that I've always said, whether it's on this show here, live streams, whatever the case may be, is, and you touched on it just a moment ago, this is an amazing community. Somehow, some way, Farming Simulator has brought together this wide array of so many people with so many different backgrounds, but there's one almost universal truth is that every single person that I have personally interacted with has been such an incredible person, just an incredible human being. Very caring, very giving with their time. Um, just genuinely cares about, the community and the health that it is in. Um, yeah, and it sounds like even though that you're, been here for a year, it sounds like you're fitting in quite nicely. So that's fantastic in my book.
Oh yeah, and I mean that's honestly one of the biggest reasons I was drawn to the community was especially coming from Dead by Daylight, where the community in Dead by Daylight is about 90% toxic and
Mm-hmm.
10% wholesome, to Farming Sim, where it's completely, the script's completely flipped. I mean, any community, you're going to have a few people that are, not as friendly.
Yep.
But the fact that this community is as wholesome as it is, it's just awestruck. It leaves me awestruck.
100%. 100% behind you on that one. Mama Bear, thank you so much for your question. Greatly appreciate it. And we got one here from Dust Bunny. She says, and Ghost Tech Gaming may be joining us for Mr. Why Not stream as well. She also says that you are correct, Mr. Farmer Donkey, Thursday, September 25th at 9 p.m. Eastern.
So I expect to see everybody there then.
Absolutely. All right,
It'll
so
be a
that's
blast.
all the questions I got from the group there. So let's go ahead and turn our sights on to the second segment here called Meat and Potatoes, emphasis on potatoes. This is where we're going to start to get to know you for more of your content rather than who you are personally. So starting out with, uh, do you currently only produce content for Farming Simulator, or do you produce other content as well?
So as of right now, yes, I am currently only producing content as far as Farming Simulator is concerned. I have considered, because I do have a secondary YouTube channel, but it is kind of been left off since I quit playing Dead by Daylight. Um, and I've been considering going and doing just general gaming on that channel, but Farming Simulator takes up a good bit of time.
I hear you. I hear you there. So, what's one thing that you never expected when you started your YouTube channel? Some of the examples that I give are the sense of community, things like unexpected backlash, things along those lines. What's one thing you never expected but did happen?
Well, honestly, so I had started it. Again, I had said I'd started on uh FS22 towards the tail end, and I put 3 episodes out there, and it didn't strike off at all. Like I kind of figured that's how it was going to be. But when I started the challenge, the one tile challenge, in I think it was April of this year, like I never thought that the community would come together and be so supportive like they were. Um, and it took me it took me on Twitch over a year and a half to get to 50 subscribers. Well, not 50 subscribers, but follows on Twitch. Um, and get the constant flow of people in my live streams and everything. And I was streaming nearly daily to do that. Um, I mean, and eventually once I got big enough, yeah, I had a lot more people in that community. But the the strong community that we have in Farming Sim is just completely amazing. They're so supportive. They're I mean, I don't know how many chats I've seen Miss Dust Bunny in, or Miss Lisa, or Mama Bear, Texas Ginger Girl. Like they're all in a lot of different players' chats, and they're interacting with these content creators all the time. They're bringing more people in. And it just blew my mind at how supportive the community is. And I just never thought that in my wildest dreams would I be where I was at when I started this channel.
I gotcha. And would you consider Farm Sim to be your favorite game? And if not, what is your favorite game?
Well, no. I love Farming Sim. It's great. But there's only, I'll say, 2 spots for my all-time favorite game. And it's for a game that was way beyond its time. And I don't know if you've ever played it, but Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2
Oh,
are my
yes.
all-time favorite games. And they will forever be installed on my computer.
Yeah, I can understand that sentiment. Unfortunately, I lost out on those games a while ago. Had them on my old computer, and then that ended up dying on me, and I had to upgrade. So yeah, I didn't get the opportunity to bring them over. Ugh. But no, they were solid games. Solid games. Loved them.
Oh yeah,
So
no, I got them on Steam, so I can upgrade.
yeah. That was unfortunately my downfall was not going with the virtual.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yep, that'd do it.
Yeah.
That would do. Well, I mean, I rebought them on Steam, but because as I said, as an Xbox player, Like that's what I played them on.
Mm-hmm.
And oh man, as soon as I saw they were on Steam, I was like, I I have to buy them. No hesitation.
Oh, see, it's one of those where I had them on my Xbox, and then it was one of those that I just couldn't bring myself to like. No, I'm sorry. Wow, my Xbox. So had it on my computer, and I just couldn't bring myself to rebuy them, kind of thing. It's like I
Mhm.
love them; they were great games, but it's just like okay, I'm starting to like move beyond them, and I'm one of those kind of players where I have a real hard time of like moving backwards, kind of thing. So like when like for example when FS25 came out and I first started playing it, I basically left 22 in the dust, kind of thing. Even though that there was, the warts and whatnot that may have been present on 25, it wasn't like fully refined just yet. Um it's like okay, I can't have all the glitz, glam, and polish that is here and then go back to the 22. You know what I mean? Like I've always
Yeah.
functioned like that.
Well, I can completely understand that. I I mean, I'm the kind of guy though that will download an emulator to play the Pokemon from like the Game Boy, not even Game Boy Color. Just to play that, just to for that nostalgia.
You're talking like the old red and blue days.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Then what was it? It was red, blue, and then they came out with yellow.
Yeah, red, blue, yellow, and then they did gold, silver, diamond
Mm-hmm.
as the
Mm-hmm.
next generation. Or no, was it diamond or was it crystal? It might have been diamond.
I think it was diamond. Yeah. I think it
Yeah.
was gold, silver, diamond, and then I think crystal was later.
Yes, yes. But man, there's so many so many of those games now. And
Oh,
I mean the mechanics are still very similar, but like the games just get so good and they reel you in.
for such a simple concept, like
Yeah.
when you kind of take the game as its own kind of standalone for Pokemon it by itself, it's such a simple concept. Just a turn-based strategy, kind of, player one takes a shot, player two takes a shot. Who has the more health and who has the better uh like strategy to put in this creature versus this creature, kind of thing. Can you take advantage
Mhm.
of the diversification of your deck, kind of thing. And such a simple mechanic, but then it spawned off the big series, the cartoons, and all that stuff. Like, whew. Technically, I think it was actually spawned because of the cartoons, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But let's see. So, how much of your day would you say consists of making or playing Farming Simulator?
Um Between 4 maybe 5 hours. Um and that's about what I spend is I'll sit down when the kids are napping and start recording. The baby will wake up about 20 minutes into it. So then I'll play with the baby and most of the time be doing like a time lapse or something where my mic's muted when I'm recording. And he'll sit there and he'll grab the steering wheel and play with me. He loves watching the tractors. Uh and then I'll make dinner and yeah. Uh once dinner's made and the kids are eating, then I'll come back and I'll finish whatever audio I needed to do for that recording session. And then yeah, the next day I'll come back through and do the editing and work on whatever song I'm going to use for the time lapse. And so about 4 hours a day.
I gotcha. And that was actually something I meant to ask earlier. You had mentioned that you had gotten into the military in order to be able to kind of explore the world, to almost refine your palate because you were interested in cooking. Um, what would you say would be one of your like signature dishes? Because I presume that uh, you still being in the military and whatnot, uh, cooking being what it is, very similar to music, like we were discussing earlier, being kind of a universal language. Food is also has that same capability. And I presume that that's not a passion that has kind of left your wheelhouse. I'm just making a presumption there. If that's the case, then what is your signature dish?
Ooh. Well, you're not wrong. Food has definitely not left uh, my wheelhouse. I have more invested in my kitchen than I do in my office area currently. um, that's tough. 'Cause if you ask my wife, her favorite dish that I make is curry.
Ooh, okay.
Uh, if you ask some of my coworkers, it's brisket.
Oh,
If you ask, if you ask
the Texan is
other
shining
one of my
through, isn't
curries, oh, the Texan shining through. Um,
it?
but the one that is always the greatest hit, regardless of who's there, is my spam fried rice.
Ooh, okay.
And I'll let you in on a little secret.
Let's hear it.
I don't use regular soy sauce when I make my fried rice. I use
Okay.
a homemade teriyaki that I make.
Oh. Now, now see, I'm a big cook myself. I love to cook. I love to experiment and whatnot. So it was actually funny. When I had decided that I was going to make a channel, I almost made a cooking channel, like one that was dedicated to cooking. But then I discovered Farm Sim and the kind of world that was within it. Started to discover, like you were saying as well, discovering other YouTube creators such as DJ Goham, Mr. Sealy P, and it's like, you know what? I'm really kind of into this. I think that this is something that I could be really passionate about and find uh, a love for. And yeah, that's basically where BDD gaming was born, but it was almost BDD cooks.
I don't think that acronym would have been as good.
You know what? I kind of agree. But no, it's one of those where when you have that affinity for cooking, um, some magical stuff can happen. One of my most requested dishes, especially for like friends and family from out of town, is my copycat Chick-fil-A. Um, I make a
Mm,
homemade Chick-fil-A sandwich, and I'm talking. I go all out. I make the homemade pickles and the fresh breaded chicken, the buns, like everything's from scratch. And
you're talking dirty, sir.
oh, oh, trust me. You and I, we could make everybody hungry regardless of what time it is. They could just
Facts.
be getting done eating dinner, and we could be like, you know what? I have room for more. Oh man, but no,
Oh
like I
yes.
said, I definitely have a passion for cooking as well, so I completely understand you there. But all right, let's get away from the food, or else we are going to make everybody hungry, and then they're going to turn off or turn off the show and go cook
Well, I
some.
had to eat dinner before the show, so
Well, let's let's make sure that you don't want to get off the show and want to eat some more food late at night.
oh,
So
definitely not.
so let me ask you this.
from FS25 and FS22, we kind of alluded what was, I believe, one of your favorites maps in FS22. Um, what is your current favorite for FS25?
I think we kind of more hit on the favorite from 25 with being Riverview. 22. I mean, yes, I did enjoy playing Tahiti, Iowa. Um, Definitely not my favorite. Um, I really enjoyed playing Alone in the World and No Man's Land from 22. Those were amazing. And like just it's a simple concept to a map, but there was so many details that you could go out and explore, and it was just so beautiful. And then you could create your own fields. Like I loved the sandbox playthrough for it.
Which you'd mentioned that you were big into Minecraft earlier, so that would make sense that maps like Alone in the World and No Man's Land would kind of be within your wheelhouse too. I mean, for those who are not familiar with Minecraft, basically a very open world sandbox kind of style, where you're able to build up, like gather resources, build things up, and kind of explore and the whole 9 yards. I'm probably doing it a terrible justice, but I know it's extremely popular game. Um, so probably didn't need to explain it, but for those of you out there who may not be aware of it, it is a thing. So
And
go ahead.
and to be fair, this was almost a Minecraft channel
Oh, so
until I found Farming Sim.
one breath away from being in the Minecraft channel,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
huh?
Absolutely.
So of the maps that have been announced so far, so you'd made mentions that there is a map that you're waiting for, um, but I don't think you told us what map that was. What map was it that you're kind of chomping at the bit to get your hands on?
So it's no secret. I really love Cavalier Roy's maps. And there's one that I know he's been working on and testing and working on, and I have got to see it. I've seen the amount of detail that he puts into pretty much all of his maps, and it is amazing. Like all the fine details, all the testing that he does to make sure that it works the way he wants it to work before um its full release. Like they're just I can open up his maps and immediately know what I want to do on it.
Gotcha,
So
gotcha. Let's see. So before FS25 released, we were starting to get all that kind of slow drip of information, of the features that were to be expected within the world of Farming Simulator 25. So we had the ground deformation, we had God rays and fog, and all those kind of news releases from giants. What was that one feature that when you saw it, you're like, okay, that looks awesome. That's the feature I'm most excited for. What was that one feature for you?
hmm, that that's pretty tough. Um like as far as the features that were released, I was a little sad when at first they weren't talking about bringing precision farming. So that made me put off getting it just a little bit. I still bought it as a pre-release. But um the whole bringing farming to Asia, bringing the rice fields, I thought that was a awesome concept that I had to try. And so I did. Uh Not super fond of it now, but it was an awesome concept.
Well, don't get ahead of us because that was going to be my next question. It was one. What was that one feature that you were super excited about, but then all of a sudden you kind of soured on? Sounds like you got ahead of me.
A little bit, a little bit. Um, yeah, no, I kind of I don't do much rice in my content. I have done it quite a few times off cam. Uh, but going and flooding the field all the time, it just I forget to do it a lot and end up with a bunch of crop loss.
I laugh because I'm right there with you.
Especially because I play with seasons, I play with precision farming, I play um pretty much all the settings turned on all the time. Um just because I like the realism behind it. And so yeah, no, I've ran over rice, I've ran I've definitely had quite a few things happen, but one of the biggest I don't know, you're probably about to ask this question and I'm getting ahead. Um but one of the biggest features that I absolutely thought was amazing after I started playing FS25 was the weather. Like there's hail damage, there's tornadoes that come in. They're not super realistic tornadoes or super realistic hail because I remember it was like 90 degrees in August on a map that I was playing on and it started hailing and I'm like, where in the world are we?
When did we get in the upside down? What's happening here?
Right. And then also I was playing on Riverview and I watched a tornado go up a cliff. And I don't know if you know a lot about tornadoes, but they don't do so well with hills.
No,
They kind of just, I would go the other way here.
they're more or less like, oh, hey, there's something in the way. How about I just kind of hug around it? Oh my goodness.
So, I mean, it's a great feature. It needs polished a little bit. I still like it and I still play with it on.
Well, so it was before your time, but in FS19 they had a basically Seasons was a mod, and it wasn't as part of the base game. And within the realm of Seasons, there was a bunch of things that were added in addition to just the quote unquote the weather, effect, having the calendars and the planting season, stuff like that. And one of the things that was in it was the the whole concept of starting to have losses. Um, so what I loved about the features that you're talking about specifically, like the tornadoes, like the hail, is there's going to be events outside of your control that's going to negatively impact your performance, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And in FS19, one of the features that they had was the crops would fail to germinate, kind of thing. So you'd have sections of your field that were just dead, kind of thing. So you
Okay.
just didn't have the ability to do anything with them. On top of all that, they had like crop degradation. So what would happen is when you would mow grass, let's say, what you'd do is you'd mow the grass, and let's say you wanted to make hay, for the example. You would mow, you would ted, and then you would leave it. You wouldn't be able to pick it up right away because it would basically go from the dark green grass to a lighter green in between state of grass and hay, and then it would sit out on the open field, and then eventually after X amount of time in the sun or without there being rain, it would eventually turn into hay. And what would happen is if you didn't go out and collect it right away, it would start to degrade and you would get less and less yield from the grass being on the ground, kind of thing. It would basically, like a simulation of rot, is essentially what it was. And it was those concepts that really kind of intrigued me. So I was too, just like you, I was very excited to see, like, okay, there's going to be some kind of, factor in there that's going to limit the amount of return. So this year I might get, let's say 10,000 liters out of this field, but the following year I might get 8,000, kind of thing. It's not going to be consistent year in, year out. And that's what every farmer is going to have to deal with in real life, kind of thing. So it was nice to see them kind of bring that addition into it. And I agree with you 100% about those features being really cool.
Oh yeah. Now, the only thing as far as realism is there's no crop insurance.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that stuff happens in real life. That, and I do have a complaint about the hail, besides the random times that it decides to start hailing. But I think I've heard from a lot of other people within the community is they don't like to play with it on because they don't like how it looks when it damages the field.
Yep.
When it hails, it's not going to hail in this little spot on the field. It's going to hit the whole field. If they took the amount of damage that it does to that one spot on the field and spread it out throughout the field and just made the area a little bit bigger for that, I think it would be a much better implementation. I know they did it because it's easier to code the way they did it. Hey, I'm just going to damage this a little bit of a crop, but hail's not going to leave an entire bald spot. It is going to damage your crops. You're still probably going to lose a good amount of crop if it hails at that point. But plants rebound pretty well. But if you're just getting ready to harvest, no, they're not going to rebound. But spreading it out through the field, don't just centralize it to one location.
100% agree with you there. 100%. So I've got, I think, 2 more questions for you, and then we're going to start wrapping things up here for tonight. So first one I have is, what was the most memorable moment of your content creation career so far?
So I've been playing with Farmer Mike on his live stream, and we've gotten to know each other pretty well. But one day after his live stream, he spent another 4 hours talking to me and helping me with my video editing and making my videos look cleaner, making my audio look sound sharper, and working on that. And that was the most wholesome thing, knowing exactly, like, the fact that we have such a huge time difference, and it went into the wee hours of the morning for him. Just because he wanted to spend that time with me and help my channel to grow that much. And like, I will never forget it. I will never forget how much of a real friend Farmer Mike is to me. And yeah.
Fantastic. I mean, it's just yet one more example of why this community is as great as it is.
Absolutely.
So actually, I kind of fibbed. I do have 2 more questions, but that's where we'll cut it off. So, where'd it go? I lost it. Okay, there it is. So, if you had the ability to make a map of somewhere in real life, like you had all the prerequisite knowledge, you knew how to code, you knew how to do all the ins and outs, giants edited, the whole 9 yards, where would that map be based off and why?
Well, I started making a map.
Oh.
It's nowhere near finished. I've been trying to learn a lot, and realized it is way out of my ballpark at the moment as far as my knowledge of coding. Um, but it is a small town in Texas. So little backstory on me. I know I ramble on, but so I was big into theater when I was in high school. I ended up being a Wild West entertainer. So I did live theater and we would travel around Texas. One of the skits that we would do was a historical skit from a small town in Texas called The Grove. And story of that really kind of resonated with me. And basically the town got bypassed by the roadways and it killed the town. So now all that's left there is very little agriculture. There's no town hardly at all. And it until of course the roadways started getting better and transportation of crops got a lot better. It virtually killed that entire town. And so I kind of wanted to bring back that time period of that map and kind of struggle with, hey, how am I going to get these crops out of town?
Okay. That's so I like the concept of a map like that, to where not only is there like the gameplay aspect, but then there's like a story on top of it. That's I think that's pretty cool. I like that. I like that a lot. So, last question I have for you. As a content creator, what kind of advice would you give to someone who's looking to start in this field?
You know, do it. Um, just start. You're gonna learn a lot of lessons along the road. Um, if you're worried about views, don't be. Um, don't look at the numbers. I don't. Uh, I just try to make my content better and something that I'm willing to watch. And that's one of those things. If I'm not, if I wouldn't watch it, I don't expect you guys to. And just that's the thing is, yeah, just just sit down, record yourself, and start. You never know what kind of response you're gonna get.
Couldn't agree with you more. I don't know why, but the whole meme of Shia LaBeouf just saying "just do it" just came screaming through my head right there. But like I said, that is the last question for that segment. So let's go ahead and look at the chat once again. Again, thank you, Dust Bunny, so very much. Greatly appreciate you. Reaver Time Todd asks, you have been in for 17 years. Thank you. Are you allowed to share your rate? Is that rate or rank?
Probably rank.
Yeah.
Is what I thought from it. So I am a sergeant first class in the Army. So that's, as far as enlisted goes, that's only 2 from the top. As far as rank structure goes. Yep.
So, kind of a little side note. So I know there's like different paths for servicemen and women who join as an enlisted men versus those who join in like the officers, uh, like their path versus the enlisted path. Um,
Mhm.
is there like a cap at which you as enlisted men can reach and you can go no higher than that? Or are you able to eventually go into the officers' rankings and then proceed up their rankings? Does that make sense? Does that question make sense?
Mm, it does make sense. So without a degree, with a high enough GPA, there's no way you're going to make it into officer ranks. Um, but yes, there's a way to get there. However, if you've made it all the way to the top of the enlisted, I doubt anybody's going to want to start back off at the bottom.
Makes
And
sense.
that's basically what you would do. I've actually looked into going officer just because it would increase my sphere of influence. And so I can help more people. Um, so I ended up knocking out my 4-year degree in a year. Uh,
Wow.
yeah. So I earned my bachelor's. um, and that was a lot of work, but my
Yeah.
GPA wasn't high enough because I did let my grades slip a little bit. Unfortunately, I only graduated with a 2.85 GPA. And so I'm at the bottom as far as GPA is concerned for making it into becoming an officer. So I am looking at going back and working on my master's degree. But I want to get my master's degree in clinical psychology.
Sounds like that'd be a
Just
very
so,
fitting field for you.
oh, absolutely. Like to me, I could care less about the piece of paper that says I know how to do stuff. I want the tools because the degree doesn't matter to me. It's the tools that it gives me to help somebody else.
That's tell you what, the more and more we talk, it seems like you have been put here to help. And again, like I said, it's inspiring. It's absolutely inspiring. You know, I really hope that no matter what path you choose, that you just keep up the great work and help as many people as you possibly can get your hands on, because that's, or your hooves, whatever you want to put it. I wish nothing but the best for you, because that's some next level stuff.
Thank you. Thank you.
Again, Reaver, thank you so much for your question. Greatly appreciate it. We got one from Gold Gaming. Gold says, Donkey, who is your favorite streamer and why is it me?
You know, Gold, I wouldn't say that you're my all-time favorite streamer. You're definitely my favorite streamer to put into the wall on Wreckfest. But no. Gold is great. We have a lot of fun. But yeah, I can't pick a favorite. I really can't. You guys are all a big part of my life now, whether you like it or not. Congratulations. But yeah, I can't pick a favorite.
Gotcha. All right. So that is the last question that I have here from Dust Bunny. So again, Dust Bunny and everybody who has asked your questions, thank you all so very, very much. Thank you all for being here for this particular Farm Sim Talk. Like I said, this one was way heavier than what I've ever experienced here on this show, and I am totally on board for it. 100% on board. But this is where we're going to start wrapping things up and go into our third and final segment called That's a Silage Wrap. Again, Farmer Donkey, thank you so very much, not only for being here tonight, but for everything that it is that you do. from the military service to the, suicide prevention, volunteering your time, doing everything that it is that you do. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Like, genuinely, thank you.
Oh, thank you for having me and giving me this time to share with you. That it means the world.
Oh, it was 100% my pleasure. 100%. Um, do you have any future plans or projects that you're working on?
As far as farm sim goes, I might have a few things I'm holding back on. For the most part, I've been doing a lot of other people's challenges, but I have one in the making. I already got everything laid out how I want to do it. I'm just waiting on a specific map to drop. So,
Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
but I don't want to rush perfection.
Hey.
So, I can wait as long as I need to.
Awesome, awesome. Love to hear it. Remind us where we can find you.
You can always find me on my Discord channel. It's the Farmer Dnkey Discord. There's links in the chat. There's links in the description. Definitely go check them out. And of course, on my YouTube, Farmer Dnkey. Definitely check that out. And please share my music. Hopefully it'll help somebody.
Like I said numerous times, I have never done it before during a stream like this today, but I'm going to say it one more time. If you're not subscribed to Farmer Dnkey, go check him out. At bare minimum, go check him out. One of those where I have been severely, I guess, lack for a better word, humbled here tonight. So again, go check him out. Hit the subscribe button. Absolutely demolish it. Do whatever it is. Have a Mr. Ballin moment and take that subscribe button out to dinner and just make them pay for it, kind of thing. Because, yeah, it's just absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. I couldn't be more pleased to have had the opportunity to talk to you here tonight. So, all that being said, I'm going to set my sights on the chat, as I always do at the end of these Farm Sim Talks. I know we had some issues here tonight with the quality of the stream. For that, I sincerely apologize. I hope that at bare minimum, the audio went out without a hitch. If it was lacking the video, then I blame this mug right here, and I'm pointing to me. Because more than likely, this mug broke it. Anyways, if you enjoyed it and you want to see more of Farm Sim Talk and us having these amazing conversations like we had here tonight, I ask of you, feel free to send me out those people that you want to have on this show. If you are a content creator, a modder, map maker within the world of Farming Simulator, a farmer in real life, and you want to participate in this, feel free to reach out to me. Unfortunately, and fortunately, the amount of people that are out there in this space is massive, and I cannot know everybody who's out there. I just can't. So, if you know somebody, if you are somebody, feel free to reach out to me, and I would love to have anybody on. Any and all people are welcome. So, again, greatly appreciate every single one of you who stopped in here tonight, hung out with us, listened in, probably didn't watch because unfortunately it's hopefully was just a video issue, not an audio issue. But I presume that because we had fair amount of people who stuck around throughout the entire thing, at bare minimum they heard us throughout this entire thing. All that being said, again, Farmer Dnkey, I want to thank you for coming on here tonight. And if you enjoyed it, please show me by liking, sharing, subscribing, following, commenting, doing all the things the algorithms enjoy doing. That shows you're engaged with this channel and enjoying the content. And that being said, I hope everybody has a fantastic day. Take care.
Farmer Donkey, hang on until after the outro here, and I'll catch you on the other side.
All right, sounds good. Have a good night, y'all.
Take care, everyone.
This is Farm Sim Talk with BDD. Let's roll. Out here in the country, where the roads run wide, there's a world behind the pixels that we're bringing to the light. From maps to mods to the rigs we drive, we're talking to the folks who keep this farm life alive. It's Farm Sim Talk with BDD. Come pull up a chair and ride along with me. Stories from the makers, the builders of the scene. Farm Sim Talk, where we live the farming dream. He's got questions rolling like a big John Deere, digging deep with modders so their voices we can hear.